Hey guys, and welcome. Today we are talking about how to raise a cradle Catholic. Hey guys, it's Laura from What Laura Likes. I want to say that today's video is a collab with a bunch of other Catholic YouTubers started by Jess at Hey Jess Chambers. So hey Jess, thanks for including me in your collab. I'm super excited about this topic because we're talking about how to raise cradle Catholics, which I know as a Catholic mom is my #1 goal in life. Fingers crossed, lots of prayers, that's the goal. So I made a list of all the things that I do on like a daily or almost daily basis to encourage my children to understand their faith, and it's actually a really long list. Like, I had no idea that I was doing so many things in order to support their Catholic faith and their Catholic journey from infancy. So what I'm going to do is just go down the list. So hopefully this video won't be too long. After you watch this video, be sure to check out Jess's video as well as the other videos in this collab. Jess is currently pregnant with her first baby, due very soon. So before I get started, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already and give this video a thumbs up if you find anything helpful in this video. Alright, so #1, the first thing to do to raise a cradle Catholic is to pray. Pray for your child, but also to pray with your child and pray in front of your children. So from the very beginning, when my children were little, we always did bedtime prayers. Even when they were infants and, you know, they didn't know. We still had a routine and we would still say prayers over them. I'll include here a really cute picture of Chloe at her second Easter. She was 1 year old in this image and she's so precious. But that came from prayer. That came from example. So my second part of this is to be an example for your children. Your children need to see you enjoying Mass, looking forward to Mass, talking about God with your spouse, with your friends, with them. That's another point. And praying. My kids see me pray. They hear me talk about God to you guys and to other people. And so the idea is you have to set an example. If you pull out your rosary and are praying it, or praying the Divine Mercy Chapel, even if you're not inviting them to join you, they see that. If you're listening to Catholic radio, if you're reading a Catholic book and they say, what are you reading about, Mommy? And you're able to tell them, those kinds of things just make Catholicism a norm in your house. The third thing that I do a ton is talk about my faith, our faith, with my kids. My kids know that they can ask me any question at all, and I will give them an age-appropriate answer, but we talk about it all day long. And in order to talk about your faith with your kids, you have to know your faith. So if you don't know your faith, if you feel like you can't answer why you're Catholic, maybe go get Trent Horn's book, Why We're Catholic by Trent Horn, and just start really, listening to Catholic radio, read your Bible, read your New Testament, and then read your Old Testament, because Catholicism didn't come, it came from the Jewish people, right? Jesus was a Jew, Mary was a Jew. You need to know your Jewish history. It's because obviously all the Old Testament points to Jesus, and it's really, really cool, and it points to the way the church is set up now, and it's really cool when you start linking them together. So in order to have discussions with your kids, you have to know your faith. So that's a responsibility to you as a parent, to continually grow in your faith. Pray about this with God. Ask Him, is there a book I should be reading? Is there a video I should be watching? Is there a conference I should be going to? That kind of thing. Just ask God to help guide you. If you need suggestions for books or prayer books or anything like that, my Amazon store is chock full of. You guys know I love relevant radio, so there's resources abounding to help further your faith. So listen to Catholic Answers in the afternoon. Listen to Call to Communion. I find that super helpful because it's the Protestants mostly calling in and having questions about the Catholic faith. Read your catechism. Huge resource that we all should have in our homes. Or you can get it online for free at the USCCB website. Alright, so I just touched on this, but #4 would be books and resources for your children. Now I do have a video that I will link down below and up here that talks about like the catechism books that we have in our house. Since then I've gotten more books, and so everything that we use will be in my Amazon store if you need suggestions. But really, this is saints, catechism, children's Bibles, parables, You can find a really great show on Amazon. It's Saints for Kids, I think is what it's called. And that's free if you have Amazon Prime. And my kids absolutely love those films. There's Glory Stories. There's EWTN has a few really good ones on like St. Augustine, St. Patrick, St. Perpetua and Felicity. Those are on form.org. EWTN has an amazing show called The Friar. It's all about the parables of Jesus. Huge fan of that show. Mother Angelica's on there. Philip Machine's on there. So between the kid-focused books, the kid-focused Catholic content, like media you can get out there, as well as watching like, you know, live action videos about the saints, like the story of St. Teresa, the Song of Bernadette, all those things. You can't go wrong with that, and those resources are going to really bring children into the faith in a more concrete way because they're either hearing stories or seeing stories. Oh, the Brother Francis DVDs, I almost forgot to mention those. Those are all on form.org. If you don't have a membership to form.org, see if your parish has a login for you, because most parishes have a form.org account that they pay for, and then the parishioners get it for free. Otherwise it costs money, and honestly I would probably pay for it, but I'm thankful that my parish has it for free. Check that out because that is a huge resource, and if you do get into form.org, I highly suggest the two programs, Footsteps of God, I think that's what's called. It's with Steve Ray. So he does it, and he does a fabulous job of weaving Old Testament and New Testament together. And then, he's kind of corny though. And then the series Presence is fabulous, and I know there's so many other series on there that I just need to like sit down and watch. But those are also really good, and you can watch those with your kids. Like my kids watched Presence with us, and they're like, oh, you know, now they know so much more about the Eucharist than a good number of Catholics, adults now. Number 5, take your kids to Mass. Hopefully you guys are all taking your kids to Mass every single Sunday, plus Holy Days of Obligation. If you're not, please consider doing so, because it is this practice and the joyful practice of this practice that is going to really solidify the Catholic faith in your kids, in my opinion. My parents always took me to Mass every Sunday. We very rarely skipped, and usually it's because someone was ill, and even then the rest of us would go. We went on vacation, like we just went to Mass. And so if nothing else, that really solidified my faith in that we go to Mass. And I didn't go to Mass in college very much, but I felt really separated from God then. So like it's definitely correlates. Go to Mass, feel closer to God. If you're a homeschooling mom or you have little ones and you're staying at home, go to daily Mass. There might be a daily Mass in your town that's at noon or 11:45, like at the lunch hour. It might not always be those early morning hours. And so it's worth at least looking into, because daily Mass has been a huge blessing for our family. Neil will thank me when we go. He knows the priest. He likes to say hi to him all the time. He got to ring the bell today. He's only 5. Kind of screwed up, but that's all right. Try not to be a perfectionist about it, but it's kind of an important thing. Anyway, so, but it's been a really big blessing. So that's why I'm dressed in my dress, because we just got back from Mass. So I was gonna make a whole video about this, but number 6 is religious education. While religious education classes are great, okay, they're like once a week, right? They're not enough. So if you're dropping your child off to religious ed for an hour, hour and a half, once a week, that's fabulous. They get to make Catholic friends, they get to, you know, it's like a community thing, and someone else is teaching them for a little bit about the faith. Sometimes they get to do stuff that you wouldn't get to do with them. That's awesome. But please don't think that that 1 hour, hour and a half is going to be enough to raise your child to be a cradle Catholic, because I went through the religious education process. So you have to really facilitate, find out like what they're teaching in religious education classes. If you want to try to like reinforce that at home, a lot of times the kids are going to ask you, so maybe email the teacher, or try to get into a dialogue with them, or just, get a Baltimore Catechism and work through it on your own at home. My goal is to always drop my kids off at religious ed and that they know almost everything they're taught. And then once in a while they'll come across something new. Like I hadn't taught Chloe the 10 Commandments, and so she was like, hey mom, the 10 Commandments. I'm like, oh yeah, we need to learn those. And so it triggered that learning at home to support the learning in religious ed. But please, Catholic parents, religious education drop-off is not enough to raise a cradle Catholic. All right, everything, number 7, everything we do is put through a Catholic lens. We are constantly talking to our kids about not being of this world. We're in this world, we're not of this world. So how we interact with friends, what we choose to do, the activities they're involved in, everything get put through a Catholic lens. When I see a beautiful sunset, I'm like, look, God is painting the sky for us. You know, when we see a chance to help a fellow human, we say, Jesus is in that fellow human and therefore we're gonna go help them and assist them. It's all through the Catholic lens. And this is just gonna get deeper and deeper as the kids get older. And I love that. And just, again, when you know your faith and you know the whys and you know the details of your faith, this is gonna become second nature to you. Number 8 is something that I know is not for every family, but for us, homeschooling has been a very integral part of raising a cradle Catholic because we get to protect their innocence. Dr. Ray talks about the age of innocence and how so many people are under this false sense of needing to just expose their kids to violence and evil because they're ultimately going to be exposed to it. But Dr. Ray, and I agree, that maintaining and protecting that age of innocence, letting them grow up and really discover the beauty of the world, to feel safe and cozy and warm, and then when they encounter the horrors, they're in a different place and it's not just a shock value and it's not just like, here, the world's evil. It's all in perspective. There's certain things that we talk about and there's certain things that, you know, because we homeschool, we can time things to where we think is best because God has given us these kids to look after and raise, and so part of our duty is to protect them. The other side of that is that everything's colored with eternity and salvation. When we do our schoolwork, you know, why are we learning to write? Well, so that we can convey God's message to other people. You know, it's all couched in that way. And so for homeschooling for us has really helped us permeate our home and our school with our faith. So I already kind of touched on this, but number 9 is going to be wholesome entertainment. You need to pay attention to what your kids are exposed to on YouTube. I mean, I'm sure we all heard about that creeper going around on YouTube Kids. So it's your duty, again, to protect your kids with TV, with the internet, with their iPads. So as a family, our show of choice right now is Little House on the Prairie. And again, it's wholesome, it's stuff that it does present to them certain trials, but it also puts it all in this very wholesome, family-oriented, church-going oriented world lens. Know what your kids are doing with their shows, their internet, their books. A lot of kids' books. I just heard from Kenzie at the Overnight Mom that there was a Ouija board embedded in this little story that her daughter was reading, and her daughter unknowingly didn't know what she was saying, was asking to play this Ouija board game. So check out your stuff. Look online, really vet the books and movies that you're going to allow your children to see. There are trusted sources out there. I trust anything that like Sarah Mackenzie at Read Aloud Revival puts out. Oh, and the other thing we do is we listen to Christian and Catholic music. So Brother Francis has like songs in all their programs, and my kids love that. I just discovered Audrey, I'm not gonna remember her last name, I'll put it down below, but I just discovered her CD this morning, and literally she made me go to mass. Like, the songs are so beautiful and they're like holy, 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 and it was so good, and I'm like, I need to go to mass. Like, and finally, I want to end with the fact that Father Ripperger has as far as I know, there's 2 videos on how to raise cradle Catholic kids, how to be a good Catholic parent. The way he talks about parenting and is just phenomenal, and he puts it, and he even talks about spiritual warfare and the ways that our sin can put our children at risk. It's fabulous, so I'm going to put both of those down below. Again, if you guys want details for anything I talked about, because I know I kind of ran through each one quickly, you know, email me, comment down below, and I will do my best to answer. Everything that I use is in my Amazon store. I absolutely love that thing because I don't have to put a huge list of links down below. You guys can pop over there, you know, cruise around, see what I use, and you know, if there's something that you like, pick it up. And that does support my channel, which is a really awesome thing to do at no cost to you. So, win-win. So with that, thank you, Jess, again for including me in this collab. I hope you guys all have a very blessed day, and until next time, make sure to love God, to know God, and to do God's will. I'll talk to you later. Bye.